Alright, so vocabulary part A. We're going to match the definitions on the left with the terms on the right. Number 1, genotypes made of the same alleles. Again, these vocabulary terms are extremely important. If we don't know our vocabulary terms, we're going to struggle with answering questions later on. So the genotypes that are made of the same alleles. Remember, HOMOS stands for the same. So that's going to help us to identify that genotypes made of the same alleles are homozygous. Different forms of genes for a single trait. Different forms of genes for a single trait. Remember that alleles are the various forms of a gene. A gene that is always expressed. A gene that is always expressed is dominant over a recessive gene. So a gene that is always expressed is B, dominant. A gene that is expressed only in the homozygous state. A gene that is expressed only in the homozygous state. Those are going to be the recessive alleles or recessive genes. And then genotypes that are made of two different alleles. Remember, hetero means different, so that prefix is going to help you in determining the answer to this question. So heterozygous is the correct answer for number 5. It is letter C. Alright, so now we're going to apply our vocabulary. So we're going to look at dominant allele, and what it wants us to do is it wants us to circle the choices that are examples of each of the words. So anytime we write a dominant allele, what do we do to it? We capitalize it. So we are looking for capital letters in here. We've got a D that is a capital letter. We have an L that is a capital letter. An N, an R, and an S. All of those are dominant alleles. When we code dominant alleles, we always write it in a capital letter. Recessive alleles. Recessive alleles are always written as a lowercase letter. So we should have circled lowercase n, lowercase d, lowercase r, lowercase k. So now we've got some examples of recessive and dominant alleles and how they are written. Now we're going to use one of the vocabulary terms, the vocabulary term homozygous, and combine it with another vocabulary term, dominant. So now we have to find the homozygous. Remember, homozygous means the same, but they have to be dominant. So we have to have the same and uppercased. Uppercase A, uppercase A. Uppercase K, uppercase K. And uppercase T, uppercase T. All three of those are homozygous dominant. Okay, homozygous recessive. So we're looking for the same, but we're looking for the recessive trait. How do we write a recessive trait again, or a recessive allele? We keep them lowercase. So we need to circle the lowercase homozygous ones. Lowercase e, lowercase e. Lowercase q, lowercase q. Lowercase w, lowercase w. All of those are homozygous recessive. Alright, number 10. Genotypes in which dominant gene must show. So the genotypes in which a dominant gene must show. So we're looking anytime a dominant gene is going to be present in the phenotype. Will the dominant gene be present in a phenotype if the alleles are uppercase A, uppercase A? Yes, they absolutely will be. So we want to circle that one. Will the dominant gene be expressed in the phenotype if we have uppercase D, lowercase d? We've got some discrepancy. Some people think yes, and some people think no. There's a dominant allele present, so is that dominant allele going to be expressed? Yes, it will be. Uppercase E, uppercase E. Will the dominant allele be expressed? Yes. Lowercase f, lowercase f. Do we see a dominant allele there? No, we don't see one, so will it be expressed? No. Uppercase J, lowercase j. Will the dominant allele be expressed? Yes. Uppercase R will as well. Uppercase S, lowercase s will as well. Okay? Genotypes in which the recessive gene must show. So we have the recessive allele coding for a phenotype. Will lowercase a, will lowercase a, the recessive gene, will it be expressed in the phenotype? I see a few people shaking their head. Yes, they are correct. Yes. Uppercase G, lowercase g, will the recessive allele be exhibited in the phenotype? No. Uppercase F, lowercase f, will the recessive allele be expressed in the phenotype? No. Uppercase K, uppercase k. No, the recessive allele is not even there. Lowercase r, lowercase r. Yes, it will be expressed. The phenotype will show whatever the trait is for that recessive allele, because there's not a dominant one present. And then no and no for the other two. Alright, take that paper, hand it back to the person it belongs to. We're going to continue working through Part B. Part B wants us to use Punnett squares, and we're starting out with examining the Punnett squares that are here and circle the ones that are correct. Alright, so lowercase d comes across, uppercase d comes down. Is this correct? Right here. Yeah, that box is correct. Lowercase d comes down, lowercase d comes across. Is this box correct? Yeah. Uppercase D comes down, lowercase d comes across. Is this one correct? Yeah. Lowercase d comes down, lowercase d comes across. Is that correct? Yeah, so we're going to circle that entire Punnett square because that Punnett square is correct. Alright, next one. Uppercase D comes down, lowercase d comes across. Is that box correct? Yeah. Next one over. Uppercase D, lowercase d. Uppercase D comes down, lowercase d comes across. Is this box correct? No, so we know this box is not correct. Next box. Uppercase A comes down, uppercase A comes across. Is that box correct? Yes. Lowercase a comes down, uppercase comes across. Is this box correct? No, I see lowercase a, lowercase a. We were supposed to bring that uppercase a across, so that one is not correct either. Alright, next box. Uppercase A, lowercase a. Are we correct here? Yes. Lowercase a, lowercase a. Are we correct? Yes. Uppercase a, lowercase a. Are we correct? Yup. Lowercase and lowercase. Is this box correct? Yes, it is. We need to circle that one. So we had 2 of the 4 correct. What's the ratio of 2 of the 4 being correct? We're not looking for a percentage, we're looking for a ratio. If it's a ratio, it is a, not necessarily a fraction, because a fraction is the same as a percentage, or can be converted to a percentage. It would be 2 to 4, and we can reduce 2 to 4 down to 1 to 2. Our ratio is 1 to 2, so for every 2, there's one that's correct. All right, number 13. What do the letters on the outside of the Punnett square stand for? So these letters right here, these two letters and these two letters, what do those letters represent? Not so much just the dominant or recessive alleles. We pull those alleles from somewhere. So yes, they are dominant and recessive alleles, but we want to be more specific. Yeah, what alleles the parents have. So those alleles, or excuse me, those letters on the outside of the Punnett square stand for the parents' alleles. All right, flip to the next page. What do the letters on the inside of a Punnett square stand for? So the ones that we create inside of the boxes. Yeah, the probability of the alleles or the genotypes for the offspring. So the probability of the offspring genotypes. All right, number 15 is an example. In corn plants, normal height, N, capital N, is dominant to short height, lowercase n. Complete these 4 Punnett squares using different crosses, then shade red all the homozygous dominant offspring. We don't need to shade red. What we'll do is we'll just shade them with our pencil. We'll shade them a different color each. And then it says shade green all the heterozygous offspring. What we'll do is we'll just circle our heterozygous offspring. And we're going to leave all the homozygous recessive offspring unshaded. So we'll shade and circle instead of using colored pencils. All right, so let's fill out our chart. We have uppercase N and uppercase N right here for one parent. The other parent is lowercase n for their genotype. So we're going to bring uppercase N down, lowercase n across. Uppercase N down, lowercase n across. And we continue going with the entire Punnett square. And it says we're going to shade all of the homozygous dominant offspring. Do we have any homozygous dominant offspring in this case? No, we don't have any in this Punnett square. And it says we're going to circle all the heterozygous offspring. Do we have any heterozygous offspring? Heterozygous offspring. Do we have any of them? Yes. How many of them? All of them. So we're going to circle all 4 of them. Okay, so we've got all 4 of those circled. All right, let's do the next Punnett square. Uppercase N comes down, uppercase N comes across. Uppercase N comes across, lowercase n comes down. Uppercase N comes down, uppercase n comes across. Uppercase n comes across, lowercase n comes down. Alright, so we want to shade the homozygous dominant. Do we have any homozygous dominant ones in this box, in this Punnett square? Homozygous dominant. Remember, homozygous means the same. Dominant, we are indicated by the fact that it is an uppercase letter. Do we have any? Yeah, how many? 2. So let's shade in our box. for those two. Alright, we also need to circle our heterozygous offspring. Do we have heterozygous offspring in this case? Yeah, we have two. One, two heterozygous offspring in this Punnett square. We have a probability of 2 of 4 being heterozygotes. That's a 50% chance that they're heterozygotes. Alright, next one. Uppercase N, uppercase N. Uppercase N comes across, lowercase n comes down. Uppercase N comes down, lowercase n comes across. Lowercase n, lowercase n. So, we are going to shade our homozygous dominant. Right, here's our homozygous dominant. We're going to shade it in. We're going to circle our heterozygous individuals. 1, 2 heterozygotes. And then homozygous recessive, we're just going to leave alone. Let's go to the next box. Uppercase N comes down. Lowercase n comes across. Lowercase n comes down. Lowercase n comes across. Uppercase n comes down. Lowercase across. Lowercase down. And lowercase across. Alright. We have two heterozygous individuals that need circled. We have two homozygous recessive. We don't need to do anything to the homozygous recessive. Alright. We are going to skip number 16 for right now. We'll come back to that. I want you to jump down to number 17. Number 17 wants us to show all of our work. Hornlessness, capital H, in cattle is dominant over being horned, lowercase h. A homozygous hornless bull, I'm going to underline that. Homozygous hornless. And I might even want to know if it's homozygous, it means the same, and it's hornless. I might want to write right above that, uppercase H, so I know what that characteristic or what that genotype is based on that characteristic. And it's mated with a homozygous horned cow. So I'm going to circle that. And it's homozygous horned. We know that horned is lowercase h. And it's homozygous, so it's the same. So we have lowercase h, lowercase h. Okay? So I'm going to write both of those down so that then inside of my question here, I can easily identify what traits my offspring, or excuse me, my parents have. And it'll help us determine what the offspring will have. So we want to know what will the genotypes and phenotypes of the first generation be. So first we want to start with the parents. What are the genotypes of the bull? What is the genotype of the bull? Uppercase H, uppercase H. And if they are uppercase H, what does that equal for its phenotype, its physical traits? Uppercase H gives what physical trait? What physical trait is that bull expressing? It's hornless. The phenotype is the physical trait that it has. In this case, uppercase H is hornless. So we're going to write that down. It is hornless. Alright, now we've got the other parent, the cow. She is homozygous horned. So what did we say her genotype was? Yup, small h, small h. And what is her phenotype then? What is her phenotype? What physical trait does she express? She's horned. Alright, now let's do a cross and figure out what will the offspring have for this cross. So I'm going to draw my Punnett square. bull is uppercase H, uppercase H. The cow is lowercase h, lowercase h. We're going to do our cross. We've got uppercase H comes down, lowercase h comes across. Uppercase H comes down, lowercase across. Uppercase H down, lowercase across. Uppercase H down, lowercase h across. Every one of our offspring have the genotype of what? Every one of the offspring have the genotype of what? Are they homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, or heterozygous? All heterozygous. They are all uppercase H, lowercase h. Now it wants also to know what the phenotype is of this generation. So uppercase H, lowercase h is what? Remember, it says hornlessness is dominant over horned. So if they end up uppercase H, lowercase h, what physical trait's being expressed? They are going to be hornless. No horns. Okay? We're going to skip number 18. We're going to skip number 19. And we're going to look at number 20. Okay, number 20 says, in humans, being a tongue roller, some of you may be able to do this, some of you may not be able to. Being able to roll your tongue. Being able to roll your tongue is dominant over a non-roller. A man who is a non-roller marries a woman who is heterozygous for tongue rolling. Alright, so let's start with the man. The man is a non-roller. He can't roll his tongue. And it says, being a tongue roller, R is dominant over a non-roller. So we need to know what is the phenotype for a man who is a non-roller. Phenotype is the physical trait. He's a non-roller. So what is he? Phenotype, physical trait. What's his phenotype? He's a non-roller. Good. Mother's phenotype. It says he marries a woman who is heterozygous for tongue rolling. What is her phenotype? She can roll her tongue, right? Because she's heterozygous and tongue rolling is dominant. So that makes it really easy because it tells us she's heterozygous for her genotype. We know she is uppercase R, lowercase r. The father's genotype nope, not unknown because he cannot roll. So we can determine what it is. Does he have the dominant allele that allows him to roll his tongue? No, so he has to be little r, little r. Okay? So it then says, or then it wants us to calculate the probability of the couple having a child who is a tongue roller. So let's do our Punnett square. We'll put Dad on the top of the Punnett square. We'll put Mom on the side. Bring lowercase r down, uppercase r across. Lowercase r down, uppercase r across. Lowercase r down, lowercase r across. Lowercase r down, lowercase r across. What is the probability of the couple having a child who is a tongue roller. In order to be a tongue roller, you have to have the dominant allele, uppercase R. If this is the allele frequency, or if this is the genotype of the offspring, can this offspring right here roll its tongue? Yeah. Put a little Y there telling me yes, can roll the tongue. This is the same as the other one, so can this offspring roll the tongue? Yeah. Down here, lowercase r, two recessive alleles. Can it roll the tongue? No. Whoops. Put an N there, so it tells me that nope, that offspring would not be able to if that was the genotype of the offspring. Lowercase r, nope, cannot. So, what is the probability of the couple having a child who is a tongue roller? And I want to walk through all the different ways we could write this probability. How can we write it as a ratio? It is 2 to 4, or if we turn that lowest terms, it is a 1 to 2 ratio, right? Okay. How can we write this as a fraction? How many boxes do we have? How many boxes do we have? 4. How many boxes are tongue rollers? 2. So we could go 2 to 4, or 2 of 4, or we turn that into lowest terms, it's 1/2, right? All right, how can we write this as a percentage? If we have 2 boxes of 4, we know that that is 50%. So there's a 50% chance they will have a child that is a tongue roller. All right. What I'm going to ask you to do right now is I would like for you to go back. I would like for you to complete on your own. We did number 13 together. I'd like for you to complete number 16 on your own. Complete number 18 on your own. Number 19 and number 21. Please work on those independently. I will be around to assist you in any way that you may need assisted.